I was so angry. I'll tell you something. Before Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur started, I have a personal grievance. I don't have a lot of personal grievances. I'll just be frank about that. But I had one that developed last year between myself and another Jewish leader around certain ways that I thought that he was mistreating me and mistreating Romemu. And before the holidays, I had reached out to him to say to him that I wouldn't forgive him. Can you imagine? I'm telling you. I said to him, it's not my place to forgive you because you didn't insult me, you insulted the kavod of my lineage. And the Gemara says that you can't be mochel on your kavod, like you can't forgive somebody who steps on your teacher. Or, in other words, it's not for me to do that. And I said, you didn't insult me. I said, you insulted renewal, and you insulted my lineage. And I won't forgive you until the person it's not him, I won't forgive that person who did this until he apologizes to my teacher and apologizes the whole thing. I made a whole thing about it. And then Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur came along, and I saw him. I saw this person last week or 2 weeks ago, and I went over to him and I was like, "I forgive you completely." And I said to him, I was thinking about this line. I said, you're on a higher level than you were before. I love you even more, and I want to be like God. I said, I want to be like Hashem. I want to be like the source of life, the source of mystery, the great heart of the universe, that forgives and doesn't forget, forgives and really forgives, and elevates, forgives and elevates. So he makes this first claim that we need to set God up, or the source of mystery, that great dimension of being which is love. We need to set that up as our role model. Our role model is God in certain faces that she wears. And now he's going to show how each of these different sfirot, these different energies, as they relate to God and to us, will affect how we behave in the world. So the first one, everybody still with me? Yes. I made a promise, I'm not leaving here unless everybody's with me. So here, let's go into the sfirot. I'll take Norman, yeah?
What if the person doesn't come and ask for forgiveness? Hurts you but doesn't ask? Is that higher?
So yeah. Well, one of the things about the relationship to God is that in the tradition, it's important for us to be able, right? God's love is never, whatever that means, that dimension of love is never withheld, so to speak. But in the tradition, it's important for the person who made a mistake to come forward and to say, I need forgiveness. Now, someone said, I read this, I think I read it yesterday at a restaurant that I was in. I think it was on a board somewhere. Forgiveness is not to set the other free, but to set yourself free. And there's a point where we do forgive, right? We forgive even on a certain level, even when that person hasn't yet asked for forgiveness. But it's tricky here, because in our tradition we don't have an image of God forgiving unless we ask for forgiveness.
From my son Elliot, anger is the poison we take thinking we will kill the other person.
Anger is the poison we take thinking, yes. Right. Not forgiving, not being forgiving. The difference between us and God is that God is, in a sense, the source of all forgiveness. So if we become the source of all forgiveness, then we can actually forgive the person's inability to come forward and ask for forgiveness, and we can hold that space for them and hope for them and pray for them to have the strength to be able to see what needs to be seen so that they can verbalize what needs to be verbalized. And we can hold that space for them, and then when they finally come forward, then we can say, wow, brother, wow, sister, in the place that you're standing in my life, I put you higher than people in my life who never made those kinds of mistakes, because I grew from what you what you broke then became the grist from the mill of my life. I needed that.
Sometimes we have to wait a long time.
Yeah, oh yeah. Tell me about it. And this is very dangerous stuff when it comes to parents and all that. This is, you could talk about this for a while. Reb David.
Don't both get elevated, the forgiver and the forgiving?
Of course. Right. Yeah. So let's learn a little bit about Keter so we can do a little bit of Kabbalah on top of this Musar. Okay? We'll add some Kabbalah on this Musar. And some of you might remember that we did pieces of this 2 years ago in Kabbalah Cafe. 2 years ago. We're on page 84. Look at the way he does this. This is really beautiful. All of this is Keter. Now remember, what's Keter mean again? Keter means crown. So write that down. I'm going to test you on it next week. Keter means crown. K-E-T-E-R, crown. What's Keter? Crown. Well, you guys are good. Now, how would Keter relate to humility? How would Keter, a crown, God's crown, our crown, an energetic crown, I related it to things that transcend, that we don't yet know or can't hold yet. How does the crown, which of course is royal, how is that humble? He's going to associate it with the character trait in Musar of anava, humility. Why is Keter humble? Play with me, guys. You don't have to get it right. This is not like Kabbalah boot camp. Yeah.
Maybe the crown is humble because a king doesn't become a king on purpose. He becomes a king by accident, born into it. So he can claim no self-importance if he's a very enlightened king.
So the king is empty of volition in that sense, or full of volition, meaning it's not an active will, but it's fully willed for, it's willing itself. Right? Like I don't become king, but kingship is happening to me and it descends upon me.
Yeah, he's not elected.
Right. So Keter is always that where you find yourself without any of that egoic, like, oh, I brought myself here. Right? In that sense, Keter is always very much associated with will, but not my own personal will. It's the will of God, which means another way of saying reality. Like what is Keter. Okay, it's beautiful. Yeah, Karen, Fried.
Because Keter isn't in consciousness, it doesn't take up space in that way. It's beyond.
Since it's beyond, right, in the psychological understanding of Keter, like it's something that's beyond me, it transcends me, it represents the mystery that I don't yet know. When people ask me why I wear a yarmulke, guess what I say? It's to remind me that there's a lot of stuff that's right that I can't even see it. I'm trying. I got lots of blind spots. I got this yarmulke on as a tangible symbol of my own Keter, of what I can't see, I can't know. Right? So Karen's saying, all Keter, all crown, is what isn't yet graspable, and in that sense it always is the limits of my knowing, and it represents the gap between what I have and what I don't. And that's certainly humbling, right? David has another. Well, I want to get somebody who hasn't spoken yet, though. I'm sorry. So over here, yes, Judy. Yeah.
Isn't God above Keter?
Is God above Keter?
So?
God is above Keter, so to speak, or identified with Keter.
Doesn't have to be all in, or
Let's just assume that God and Keter are. Oh, so you're saying Keter is humility because there's even something above Keter. Okay, so whatever's above you humbles you. Okay, so Keter represents also what we don't know. Okay, so it's more of the same. Keter is what we don't know, and we're humbled by that. Okay. Yeah.
Just figure
Josh.
because of its height, it has great sight and is able to see everything something below it, and also, and beyond that, that as a mirror, something to do, whatever, something to do, as a mirror, it is also, not quite know why.
Yeah, the Keter, the thing about seeing and everything, and also including everything, and being willing to have a below. So the Ramak is going to say that Keter is humble because it's willing to give to everything below it. It gives itself. It doesn't remain self-satisfied in Keter, but it gives, right? It unfolds into all of the lower energies. Not only that, it actually invites a body to wear it. And it says, right, I'm giving to you. It's always has its eyes, as the Ramak says, in the directionality of below. It's always looking below. There isn't a king without a nation. You can't have a king, says the saying, Ein melech below am. Ein melech below am. There can be no Keter. Keter is a relative sfira. It's the first, but it's the crown because all of the others come. And so it needs the support of all the lower for it to be elevated. And so Keter is including all of that which will come, and it also has this vision. So it's deep humility, potentially. Right? So let's read what he says on page 84. The quality of humility includes all qualities since it pertains to Keter. Although Keter transcends all the other qualities, it does not exalt itself. On the contrary, it descends, constantly gazing below. Its emanator constantly gazes into it, bestowing goodness, while it gazes at those beneath it. God nourishes everything. Here's his unpacking of it. God nourishes everything, from the horned buffalo to nits, disdaining no creature. For if God disdained creatures due to their insignificance, they could not endure for even a moment. Rather, God gazes and emanates compassion upon them all. And so should you be good to all creatures, disdaining none. Even the most insignificant creatures should assume importance in your eyes. Attend to it. Do good to whomever needs your goodness. Do good to whomever needs your goodness. Right? Right. Do good to whomever needs your goodness. But chesed might be only, right? Chesed is, the quality here of Keter, though, here is see everything. Right? Relate to everything. Don't look at things from the stance of arrogance, which removes you from relationship. Right? To be like God. Be like G. Be like G. To be to G is to have a sense that everything has its place and that everything can belong in my world and everything is precious to my world. And who are we to judge? Who are we to set up hierarchies of significance that then belittle or make what seems less significant to us insignificant? And he wants there to be humility in our relationship to the world and to I think most importantly, he's obviously relating to the entire sentient world, but for the Ramak it's very much about this. So if you are in be like G, be to G, be like God, in the quality of Keter would be that everyone is intrinsically equal. They might be extrinsically different. Right? God wouldn't imagine that a buffalo should do the same thing that a like a nit does, right? But that there is a sense of embracing all with Keter, with the humility, and with the ability to hold all of the visual. I say, like from Keter, right? If we had Keter mind 4 decades ago, we would have looked at the world and not thought that we could imperviously and without any shame treat the physical world the way that we have.